From an early age, some people feel that they are on a different path from others. It's not a matter of thinking they're better, but of realizing that what happens around them doesn't seem to make sense. They feel that there is something greater, something invisible guiding their lives. And often this feeling becomes a constant drive to seek more, understand more, and question more about their own journey. These people, throughout life, face unexpected challenges. They are not common obstacles, but difficulties that seem to test their emotional and mental resilience in intense ways. Each experience, whether positive or negative, brings deep lessons. These lessons are not easily learned, but they transform those who live them, creating a unique wisdom that, over time, makes them stronger and more aware of their role in the world. Among these individuals, there are different types of chosen ones, and each one carries a unique characteristic. Some are more intuitive, others more sensitive to the emotions of others, while there are those who are naturally protective or transformative. What they all have in common is the feeling that they have a greater purpose, something that guides them and makes them see the world differently from most people, often feeling out of place. Within this group, there is a small number of people with a rare gift, the gift of healing. These people, without meaning to, have the power to ease the emotional pain of others. They attract outpourings and offer comfort, but without realizing the deep impact they cause. This gift is not something one chooses, but arises naturally, and it comes with the challenge of balancing one's own energy. If you recognized yourself in any of these signs, it is likely that you also have a purpose to fulfill. Your journey may have been marked by many trials, but all of this is part of the awakening process. You are not lost. On the contrary, you may be on the right path, awakening to who you really are and understanding that your experiences have more meaning than you imagine. I am George, and if this content resonated with you, follow the channel for more insights. The Awakened, Chosen One. From a very young age, the awakened chosen one feels that reality is not limited to what is shown. He observes more than he speaks and notices details that go unnoticed by most people. While others follow patterns without questioning, he feels an inner discomfort, as if something is out of place. This discomfort is not negative, but a sign of expanding awareness. Throughout life, this type of chosen one goes through moments that force him to mature early. Situations that require difficult decisions, sudden changes, or emotional losses arise as constant tests. Nothing seems superficial. Each event carries a hidden meaning that, even if not understood immediately, contributes to inner growth and to the strengthening of spiritual perception. The awakened chosen one usually distances himself from environments where everything seems empty or mechanical. Shallow conversations, relationships based only on interests, and purposeless routines deeply exhaust him. He feels a need for meaning in everything he does. For this reason, he often prefers to be alone rather than feel out of place among people who do not share the same depth. Over time, this chosen one learns that awakening is not about accumulating information, but about developing clarity. He begins to perceive patterns, recognize cycles, and understand that certain experiences are repeated until the lesson is learned. This understanding does not come from books, but from observing his own life and the choices he had to make along the way. Despite his heightened awareness, the awakened chosen one also faces inner doubts. At times he questions whether he is exaggerating or imagining too many things. However, whenever he tries to ignore his perception, something happens to remind him that his different way of seeing is part of who he is, not a mistake or illusion. This type of chosen one did not come to convince anyone, but to see with clarity. His mission begins within himself, by learning to trust his own awareness. When he accepts this role, he becomes someone who inspires simply by the way he lives, showing that awakening is, above all, a silent and continuous process. The intuitive chosen one. The intuitive chosen one is the one who feels before he understands. Often, he does not know how to explain the reason for certain decisions, but something inside guides him with precision. It is like a silent voice that directs his steps, warning him when to move forward or when to step back. This intuition is not fear. It is refined perception. From early on, this chosen one notices changes in the environment and in people. He notices when something is not right, even if everything seems normal. He can feel intentions, sense conflicts, and anticipate situations without needing concrete proof. Because of this, he is often seen as someone who exaggerates, until time confirms his perceptions. Throughout life, the intuitive chosen one learns in the hardest way. Ignoring his intuition almost always brings consequences. Frustrating experiences, choices that went wrong, and relationships that caused pain usually occurred when he doubted what he felt. These moments do not serve to punish him, but to teach him to trust himself. This type of chosen one often feels overwhelmed in very crowded or emotionally intense environments. His sensitivity picks up more than it should, absorbing tensions and other people's emotions. Therefore, he needs moments of silence and withdrawal to regain balance. Being alone is not isolation, it is an energetic necessity. Over time, the intuitive chosen one understands that his perception is a gift that needs care. He learns to differentiate what is his own feeling and what comes from the outside. This learning helps him use his intuition with more clarity, avoiding emotional confusion and excessive exhaustion. When he fully trusts his sensitivity, this chosen one becomes a natural guide. Not because he gives orders or ready-made answers, but because his presence conveys security. He shows, effortlessly, that listening to what comes from within can be the safest way to walk in a world full of noise. The empath chosen one. The empath chosen one feels the world intensely. Emotions, pains, and joys of others seem to pass through him as if they were his own. From a young age, he notices that his emotional state changes according to the environment or the people around him. Many times he wakes up feeling fine, and without explanation, feels tired or sad after simple interactions. This type of chosen one tends to attract emotionally wounded people. Friends, family members, and even strangers feel confident opening up, venting, and sharing their pain. The empath listens, receives, and understands, but does not always notice the weight this generates inside. He helps without measuring his own limit. Throughout life, the empath chosen one goes through periods of emotional exhaustion. He feels drained, confused, or overwhelmed, without fully understanding why. He often believes that the problem is within him, when in fact he is carrying emotions that do not belong to him. This is one of the greatest challenges for this type of chosen one. Over time, he learns that empathy does not mean absorbing everything. Developing boundaries becomes essential for his emotional survival. Learning to say no, to step away when necessary, and to take care of his own energy is not selfishness, but balance. Without this, the gift turns into a burden. The empath chosen one also needs to learn to listen to himself. He is so used to feeling the other that at times he ignores his own needs. When he begins to prioritize himself, he discovers that his capacity to help becomes healthier and more genuine, without guilt or excessive wear. When balanced, this chosen one becomes a powerful anchor. His presence brings comfort, his listening heals, and his understanding transforms. He does not need to solve problems, only to be present. This is the true power of conscious empathy, welcoming without losing oneself, helping without self-erasure. The warrior chosen one. The warrior chosen one is the one who faces difficulties from an early age. His life has rarely been peaceful, and challenges arose even before he felt prepared. Family problems, early responsibilities, or unfair situations were part of his growth. While others had time to mature calmly, he had to learn in practice, quickly developing emotional strength. This type of chosen one often feels that he is always fighting for something. Nothing comes easy, and each achievement requires double effort. In many moments, he asks himself why everything seems harder for him than for others. However, these constant battles shape his resilience and his ability to remain firm even when everything seems to be falling apart. Throughout life, the warrior chosen one learns to endure pain in silence. He moves forward even when tired, even when wounded, because he understands that giving up is not an option. This stance makes many see him as strong, without realizing how many times he had to rebuild himself after deep falls and moments of emotional exhaustion. Despite his firm appearance, this chosen one also faces inner conflicts. At certain times, he feels anger, weariness, and the desire to give up everything. These feelings do not make him weak, only human. The learning lies in understanding that resting is also part of the battle, and that strength does not mean ignoring his own limits. Over time, the warrior chosen one realizes that his struggles were not in vain. They prepared him to defend not only himself, but also those who cannot protect themselves. He becomes someone who inspires courage, not through speeches, but through his own journey of overcoming and resilience. This chosen one was not born for a comfortable life, but to develop inner strength. When he understands this, he stops asking, "Why me?" and begins to see each challenge as part of the construction of who he has become. His mission is to show that it is possible to keep going, even when everything tries to make him stop. The solitary chosen one. The solitary chosen one has always had a different relationship with silence. From early on, he feels the need to be alone to organize thoughts and emotions. Even surrounded by people, he realizes that few truly understand him. This feeling does not come from pride, but from a deep difference in the way he sees life and relationships. Over time, this chosen one learns that solitude is not always abandonment. Many times it is a space for reconnection with oneself. While others feel uncomfortable being alone, he finds clarity, rest, and balance in these moments. Silence becomes an ally, not an enemy. This type of chosen one usually distances himself from noisy or superficial environments. Empty conversations and forced relationships quickly drain him. He prefers a few true bonds to many shallow connections. This choice, however, makes him be seen as distant or closed off, when in fact he simply values authenticity. At times, the solitary chosen one questions whether there is something wrong with him. He watches others adapt easily while he struggles to belong. Over time, he realizes that his nature was not made to blend into everything, but to observe, understand, and follow his own rhythm. This chosen one develops a strong inner life. Deep thoughts, constant reflections, and a silent search for meaning are part of his routine. He learns a lot from himself, and this self-understanding becomes a source of wisdom that few around him possess. When he accepts his essence, the solitary chosen one stops fighting against who he is. He understands that his mission does not require crowds, but conscious presence. His strength lies in clarity, in silence, and in the ability to remain whole, even when he walks alone. The questioning chosen one. The questioning chosen one has never accepted ready-made answers. From an early age, he feels the need to understand the reason for things, going beyond what he is taught. Rules, traditions, and beliefs are carefully analyzed. He does not reject everything, but he needs it to make sense before accepting any idea or path. Throughout life, this chosen one comes into conflict with rigid systems. Environments where it is not allowed to ask or reflect bother him deeply. He feels that following something without understanding is distancing himself from his own truth. That is why he is often seen as rebellious or difficult, when in fact he is only seeking coherence. This type of chosen one goes through phases of intense doubt. He questions himself, his choices, and even his deepest beliefs. These moments do not indicate weakness, but growth. Each doubt opens space for a more mature understanding, built from experience and personal reflection. The questioning chosen one learns more from mistakes than from certainties. He tests, observes, and reflects. He is not satisfied with simple answers to complex questions. This stance leads him to develop his own view of the world, often different from the majority, but more aligned with his conscience. Over time, he realizes that questioning is not about destroying, but about rebuilding with more truth. His critical eye helps to identify illusions, false promises, and empty paths. He learns to trust his own perception more than external approval. When he matures, the questioning chosen one becomes someone who inspires reflection in others. He does not impose ideas, but provokes thought. His mission is not to give answers, but to teach that seeking the truth begins with the courage to ask. The protective chosen one. The protective chosen one has always felt the need to defend those who cannot defend themselves. From an early age, he reacts intensely in the face of injustices, abuses, or unequal situations. He does not seek conflict, but feels a natural impulse to intervene when he sees someone being hurt, ignored, or treated with disrespect, even if this brings consequences to him. Throughout life, this chosen one takes on responsibilities that are often not his. He protects friends, family, and even strangers, putting himself in front to prevent others from suffering. This stance makes him be seen as strong, but also exposes him to emotional strain, as not everyone recognizes or values his genuine intention. The protective chosen one often feels a constant weight on his shoulders. He worries excessively about others and sometimes forgets to take care of himself. This behavior is not born from control, but from a deep sense of responsibility. He believes, even without realizing it, that if he does not act, something bad may happen. Over time, this chosen one learns that protecting does not mean carrying everything alone. Developing boundaries becomes essential so that his gift does not turn into exhaustion. He understands that not all battles are his, and that helping also involves allowing others to learn from their own experiences. When he matures, the protective chosen one becomes a safe presence. He conveys firmness, support, and courage without needing to impose anything. His strength lies in the balance between acting when necessary and stepping back when he realizes that his intervention is no longer useful. This chosen one came to remind that protecting is an act of awareness, not of constant sacrifice. By learning to take care of himself, he starts to protect in a fairer, healthier, and more genuine way. The transformative chosen one. The transformative chosen one lives intense cycles of change. His life is marked by well-defined phases, where everything seems to collapse, only to reorganize itself in another way. He rarely remains the same for long. Each difficult experience provokes a deep inner transformation, changing his way of thinking, feeling, and acting. From an early age, this chosen one goes through important ruptures. Relationships end, paths change, and certainties dissolve. At first, these losses cause pain and confusion. Over time, he realizes that each ending was necessary to make room for a more conscious version of himself. The transformative chosen one feels that he can never go back to being who he was before. After each difficult phase, something inside him awakens. He begins to see the world with more clarity and fewer illusions. This constant renewal makes him someone deep, but also solitary at times. This type of chosen one learns not to cling excessively to the past. He understands that resisting change only prolongs suffering. Accepting the end of cycles becomes a natural part of his journey, even when it hurts. Transformation, for him, is inevitable. Over time, the transformative chosen one inspires others just through his own evolution. People feel motivated when they observe his ability to rebuild himself after falls. He shows that starting over is not failure, but courage. His mission is not to remain stable, but to evolve constantly. By accepting this role, he becomes a symbol of renewal, showing that it is always possible to be reborn, even after the greatest losses. The Chosen One of Silent Light. The Chosen One of Silent Light does not seek recognition. He does not need to stand out or prove anything to anyone. His presence in itself conveys calm, security, and balance. Many times he helps without being noticed, influences without speaking much, and transforms environments simply by being there. From early on, this chosen one shows a calm posture toward life. He observes more than he reacts and prefers to act discreetly. He does not like unnecessary conflicts and avoids heavy environments. His strength lies in emotional stability and the ability to maintain inner peace. This type of chosen one is often underestimated. Because he does not impose himself, many do not perceive his depth. However, when a situation demands clarity or balance, his presence becomes essential. He sees simple solutions to problems that seem complex to others. Throughout life, the chosen one of Silent Light learns that he does not need to explain himself. He trusts his own essence and knows that whoever needs to understand will understand at the right time. This inner security keeps him steady, even when he is not recognized. His light is not intense or flashy, but constant. He does not illuminate with words, but with actions. Small gestures, attentive listening, and genuine respect are part of who he is. This chosen one came to show that it is not necessary to make noise to cause impact. Sometimes, the greatest transformation happens in silence, through a presence that calms and strengthens without needing to be seen. The chosen ones with the gift of healing are people who carry a rare sensitivity. They did not learn to heal in courses, nor did they choose this role consciously. This gift manifests naturally, often still in childhood, when they realize that their presence brings relief to others. They do not need to say much. Just listening already makes a difference. Those who come close feel they can speak without being judged, as if they were finally in a safe space. These chosen ones have the ability to calm without effort. In situations of tension, conflict, or emotional pain, their energy brings balance. Agitated people become calmer, racing hearts slow down, and confused thoughts become organized. It is not something forced. It happens because these people carry a welcoming vibration built over many difficult experiences. They have learned in practice the value of silence and true listening. Another striking sign is that they make others feel protected without knowing how to explain why. There is something in their presence that conveys safety. It is not about promises or advice, but about an inner feeling that everything will be all right. Often, those who receive this energy only realize the impact later, when they notice that they left feeling lighter than when they arrived. This effect happens because the healer creates a space where the other can be vulnerable without fear. Getting this far is not something common. Not everyone identifies with this path, because not everyone carries this sensitivity. The chosen ones with the gift of healing live a silent journey, often misunderstood, marked by emotional dedication and constant learning. They were not called to be strong all the time, but to learn to balance care for others with care for themselves. This is the greatest challenge of this gift. As time passes, these chosen ones realize that they cannot heal everyone, nor carry the world on their shoulders. True healing begins when they understand that their role is not to solve others' pain, but to offer presence, holding space, and awareness. Each person needs to walk their own path, and the healer is there to illuminate, not to walk in the other's place. This understanding brings relief and spiritual maturity. Accepting the gift of healing also means accepting one's own story. The pains experienced stop being seen as punishment and come to be understood as preparation. Each wound overcome turns into empathy. Each fall generates understanding, and each difficult moment builds the capacity to support someone truthfully. Nothing was wasted. Everything contributed to forming who you are today. When the healer learns to respect their limits, their energy is strengthened. They stop exhausting themselves and begin to help in a more conscious way. Healing becomes light, natural, and true. There's no need for excessive effort, only presence and clear intention. Thus, the gift ceases to be a weight and becomes a purpose. If you recognize yourself on this path, remember, you are not alone, and you do not need to erase yourself to fulfill your mission. Taking care of yourself is also an act of healing. By strengthening yourself, you help even more. The world does not need you to lose yourself, but to remain whole. This is the balance that turns pain into light and sensitivity into true healing.